Charlie Kirk. Man, this thing is just flooding the algorithm, ain't it? We're gonna talk about it a little bit, then we're gonna get into some other things, man. So y'all rock with us, man. We're gonna get into this countdown real quick. We're gonna play a couple of ads and then we're gonna chop it up. So in the meantime, y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it.
Here's the way it is. You live in direct relation to the poets, the heroes, and the sheroes you have. Always honor the elders. Then you honor yourself. Honor women. You honor yourself. Honor men. You honor yourselves.
Yo family, real quick, I'm proud to announce the soft launch of Sincere Love to God's new book, From the Womb to Illmatic, a hip-hop-inspired blueprint for unlocking your child's inner genius. This ain't your average parenting book, this is for the culture, inspired by Illmatic, built around his own son Seven's early development, and packed with real tools to help parents turn everyday moments into genius-level learning. If you've ever wanted to give your child a head start without losing your roots, this book is for you. Available now on Amazon. Order now and leave a 5-star review. You already know, we raising brilliance around here.
Hi, I'm Seven, and I'm the Super Harry. That means I ask big questions, I make big moves, and I come from something powerful. In this series, I grow through change, embrace my culture, and unlock the gifts that my ancestors gave me. These books are for kids like me, kids with heart, with pride, and with big dreams. Come join the journey. Collect all 4 Seven the Super Hero books and unlock your power. Available on Amazon and Kindle now. Order your copy today.
Peace, family. What's good? What's good? Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. I am the God Sincere, back in the house once again with my lovely co-host, Nicety Girl. What's going on with you?
What's good? Happy Sunday, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's a cool Sunday, man. I got up early and went and got my workout out the way. I did some shit with my partner, man. He had my body doing some things that I ain't used to doing. Pause. But he had my body doing some things. I'm gonna feel this shit the next couple of days. But it was good.
Yeah. Though. Yeah. Ty went working out with his uncle this morning. They did a 3-hour workout. He in there knocked out right now.
Yeah, I was knocked out earlier. I was knocked out because I came back from the gym, and then the kids wanted to go to the park. We took them to the park, and I came back to the house and was knocked out.
He was like, I'm gonna feel this tomorrow. And I'm like, you sure are. I was like, 3 hours. Like, what? Why would you do that? What is 3-hour workouts for? Like,
I'm not really. Like sometimes I'll be in the gym for like 2 hours sometimes, but that includes everything. Like I'm stretching, I'm warming up, I do the workout, and then after the workout, I'm getting in the sauna. I might do the massage chair, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? But not working out for 2 hours straight. Hell no.
So his uncle is a beast though in the gym, and he likes to work out with him because he pushes him a little bit more than he pushes himself. And I don't think he was expecting 3 hours today, but it went that long. So yeah, but he said he enjoyed it. He loved working out with him.
Get that money, nephew. Get that money.
That's your money. He graduates tomorrow. Ooh. Tomorrow's the big day.
Congratulations.
So got that going on tomorrow night.
Congratulations. Shout out to him. Out to him. Ty Weezy be doing his thing, boy. I love it.
But y'all, the money.
Y'all come on up in here, man. Hit the like button as you're coming up in here. Share this out on your social media platforms. Let everybody know that we are live with another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new content or drop new content here on Sincere Love the Godcast. And if you're not a subscriber to the Godcast channel, Godcast Enterprises on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber to that channel, but you normally watch us on our other channel, that's fine. Appreciate you. But go over to Godcast Enterprises and hit that subscribe button. We are right almost at the threshold where we're going to be able to monetize that channel. We only need a few more subscribers on the Godcast Enterprises channel to be able to activate the monetization features. So if you're not a subscriber on Godcast Enterprises, you might be watching us right now on Sincere Love the Godcast. Peace to you. You might be watching us right now on Facebook. Peace to y'all. But if you're not a subscriber on Godcast Enterprises on YouTube, I need you to go over there and hit that subscribe button. If a few of y'all do that today, I'm pretty sure we will cross that threshold, where we can start doing our thing over there. Shout out to Crew Reality in the building.
What's up?
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Good to see you, good brother. Brother Ish in the building. Good to see you. Shout out to the family coming up in here. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. What's going on the West Coast? Everything cool?
Everything's good. It's finally starting to cool off in the evening. In the daytime, it's high 80s, but in the evening, it's actually starting to cool off. Before, it was like, hot in the day, but hotter at night. So now we're starting to feel like fall weather at
Same
night.
here.
Yeah.
Same here. Not really fall. Well, what I would consider fall, like New York fall is cold, but I guess fall for the South. Fall weather in the morning and in the evening. But yeah, the weather is pretty mild. The weather's pretty mild out here. It's cool. Do y'all out there in Cali, is everything like central air and all of that stuff? Or y'all got like
Not
big ass
everything, believe it
air
or not,
conditioners
there's
in the
some.
window?
Oh, some people do not have central air and heating. Thank God I do.
That's
But yeah,
crazy.
some people do not have it. No.
That's
You would think
crazy.
because the weather has always been
Right.
pretty hot here that it will be mandatory, like
Right.
Vegas. You can't go anywhere in Vegas and get an apartment or a house that doesn't have it.
Right. I
You
think
know
it's
what
like
I'm
that
saying?
here. I'm pretty sure it's
Mhm.
like that here. I've never been in somebody's crib or any place since I've been down here that don't have central air. It's just
Oh
automatic.
no. Mm-mm, not out here. You lucky if you find somewhere like the newer apartments, you know what I'm
Damn.
saying? They have it, but no, you can find some. People still got fans in their window.
That's crazy.
Yes, and foil on their windows to keep the heat out. You know what I'm saying?
Funny shit. That's just
Yes,
y'all in the 80s out here.
yeah.
Man. But what we talking about today, man? We got to talk about this Charlie Kirk situation
Lord.
again. We're gonna have to
Mhm.
touch on it. But today was his memorial, I guess. They had a
Yeah.
memorial for him. Was it his
Mhm.
funeral or what was it today?
They're calling it a memorial service. It was held. I don't even know where. Donald Trump did show up.
Did he get buried
Um,
today or they just did some type of symbolic something?
I think it was a symbolic service. It's just
Okay.
because there's no body or anything that I could see, on there. It was just a symbolic service that they're comparing to the service of or the memorial of MLK, which is weird to me. Like there's this
They doing the
weird
most.
obsession. There's this weird obsession with the dominant society and with comparing him, to the likes of MLK or any of our, what I'm saying, civil rights leaders, and things like that. It's weird energy to me. It's weird. Elon Musk is one of the main ones that's going crazy on X with the bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so sloppy of them. We know what this is about. They doing the most and being real over the top with this thing in order to try to position whiteness as victims. Victims of some kind of outside attack, some kind of
Mhm.
outside threat, and they're weaponizing, like we talked about last week. They're weaponizing his murder to be able to silence anyone who really speaks truth to power when it comes to white supremacy, how it works and how it's maintained and all of that. If you criticize him or his words or anything like that, they're getting you up out the paint. They done fired Jimmy Kimmel, got kicked off the air, and a couple other people that lost their jobs for saying the wrong thing about Charlie, not even about Charlie Kirk, just around the whole issue. Because when I saw the clips from Jimmy Kimmel, he wasn't really taking shots at Charlie Kirk. He was kind of taking shots at the MAGA crowd, you know what I'm saying? And, their fake outrage and all of that stuff in response to it. But they got him up out of there. But shout out to Jimmy Kimmel, though. I give him a little bit of respect because he like, nah, I ain't about to apologize, man. I said what I said. Y'all gonna take the show, take the show. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't apologize either. You did what you did, and if he was gonna get canceled and put off the show, why wasn't he canceled then, or he lost? Why didn't he lose his show for showing up in blackface?
Did he? I only remember that.
I do. Remember, he was dressed up as a basketball player. He had blackface on with the bald head and stuff like that.
I do not remember that. No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I do not remember that.
Oh yeah.
I was just saying, as far as him, standing on what he said, I just like to see more black entertainers do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all made enough bread to get him the middle finger. Y'all don't got to bow down and start scratching every time. You know what I'm saying? Fall in line with everything they want you to fall in line with. And that's kind of what we're really talking about today, because that's what's happening to the Democrats en masse.
Yeah.
The Democrats are being forced to fall in line because now they done passed this resolution to create a Charlie Kirk holiday.
Right.
A Charlie Kirk Day of Remembrance or whatever it is. It's going to be October 14th, which is his birthday, which he shares with George Floyd, for those that don't know.
The irony.
And so most of the Democrats voted yes on it, and it got passed bipartisan. You know what I'm saying? So the Democrats are being forced to bow down and scratch over this issue too.
My thing is, are they being forced or are they just being who they are? Because one thing about it is the Republican Party, you know what I'm saying, they just stand on business. They ain't letting you force them into doing nothing, whether it's for symbolic purposes or not. If they don't want to budge, they're just not budging. It is what it is. Versus these fools always have to fall in line, take some type of moral high road, and you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, stand on something.
Right. It's both. Because they would love to go against the Republicans at any cost, you know what I'm saying? But in this case, it doesn't feel politically expedient for them. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get some political mileage out of showing some type of sense of humanity, I guess, or not being seen as celebratory of someone's death or someone's murder or whatever the case may be, And so that's the thing, like what you just said, they rather, and I think Dr. King said this, how the liberals, they rather have order than progress or something to that effect, paraphrasing. You know what I'm saying? But they're more concerned with keeping the order and maintaining the peace and the appearance of everything being cool across partisan lines rather than do what's necessary to really get things done and make some progress out here. But at the same time, they do feel the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They are truly empathetic towards a Charlie Kirk and a lot of stuff that a lot of anti-black stuff that he has spewed. They agree with it. So they ain't trying to really shake nothing up and make too much noise about it.
My thing is, you can't keep screaming, MAGA's racist, they're anti-black, because this is what they're, that's their narrative right now. Then turn around and fall in line with someone who pushed anti-black racism, who said that, black people, are freeloaders, who mock the death and the pain, of black life, the life of black children, Trayvon Martin, being one of them. So we're gonna fall in line to that,
right?
While screaming, MAGA's racist at the same time. You can't have it both ways.
Right. They're hypocrites, man. Both sides. They're very, very hypocritical. Wasn't trying to share that just yet. Hold on. Let me move that off the screen. I was getting ready to pull some stuff up. You know, pull some stuff up. But yeah, both sides, you know, they're very hypocritical. You know, they speak out of both sides of their mouth. Um, but yeah, like you said, they talking about now Charlie Kirk's memorial is now comparable in attendance to the funerals of Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK.
which
Give
is
me
crazy.
a knife.
And
Give me
and,
a
and
freaking knife.
and the fact that you have to kind of do this comparison says a whole lot about them and him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
And weren't there reports that there was some armed person was arrested at his memorial today also?
Yeah. Yeah, that came out of an armed man at the stadium ahead of Charlie Kirk's memorial service, and it's loading right now. 1 second. This is reported out of ABC News. It's a man from Arizona. A man has been arrested and charged after he allegedly impersonated a law enforcement officer and brought a weapon to the stadium where Charlie Kirk's memorial service was held on Sunday, according to officials. His name was Joshua Ruckles, age 42, was booked and charged on charges of carrying a weapon into a prohibited place and impersonating law enforcement.
Mm, mm, So
And
I
by
wonder
the
what
way,
that was about.
this is his mugshot.
Oh, let me see that.
He kind of looks like Manson a little bit to me.
He impersonated a police officer?
Yeah, that's who they're saying. That's the suspect. He with a beard.
This nigga impersonated a police officer?
Yes,
Who believed that?
right. Because don't they have to be clean shaven and
Right. This
they
nigga
can
got
have long
tattoos all
hair
on
and
his
stuff.
face and
Yeah,
shit. Now, I mean, they probably got some deep cover police officers
that's
out
not
there,
the
but
tattoos. That's like the watermark for the police department.
okay.
Hmm.
But still, he just looked like he just crawled out of trailer home some damn well.
Literally, literally. And when have you known police officers to have long beards and ponytails and stuff?
That's what I'm saying. Unless they like real deep cover, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Type shit. But if you impersonating a police officer, you're not impersonating an undercover police officer.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean? So I don't know what that was
But yeah.
about. But
And my thing is, you brought a weapon to the memorial service to do what?
right.
Which is Arizona. So let me just let's play, Angel's advocate for a minute. It
Okay.
is Arizona. It is an open carry state. Maybe he just forgot that his weapon was on him.
Uh, uh, uh.
Listen, it's Arizona. The gun laws
I
there
feel
are
you.
really, really light.
I feel you. I don't know. What I see, white supremacy is imploding on itself.
Yeah,
White
yeah.
supremacy is imploding on itself, and you know they're getting real violent with each other, which is it's normal for them. You know, just study their history. Just study their history. It always gets to the point where they start being very violent with each other, and so
Mhm.
I'm just eating my popcorn.
Said, yeah, I'm sitting this one out, watching from the sideline.
But a lot of people, that's what I want people to notice about the white supremacists across the board. Everybody got the cape on for Charlie. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't hear white supremacists. I mean, the suspected white supremacists from any sector, of politics and media or wherever, who's really speaking out and condemning and saying the things that we're saying about who Charlie Kirk really, really was. We don't see that, and so you even got the Pope out
Oh
here.
Lord, did you see this?
Let me play a little bit of this right here. This is fair use, by the way. This was a clip from Fox News where you got this cardinal. I don't know if he's the Pope. I don't know how that shit works, but Timothy Cardinal Dolan, he's on Fox News with the cape on for Charlie.
I thought, I got to learn about this guy. And
he didn't even know who he was. And that's the truth for a lot of people. Before, his murder, most people didn't even know who this nigga was. And they trying to hype him up like he was so important and he was going to possibly be president one day and all of this stuff.
Come on now.
No accomplishments under his belt. Zero.
Zero. He was a podcaster.
What credentials, because Trump said that bullshit. This man had a really good chance of, one day becoming president. Based on what?
Well, what qualifications did Trump have? He's
Shit.
president.
Shit. I mean, at least, Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying? Is a billionaire, a businessman, a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
this guy wasn't even none of that. I mean, the bar is low.
The bar is
The-
very, very low when it comes to white males. Let's be very clear
right.
about that.
The bar is low, but this is really inflated. You know what I'm saying? Like Charlie Kirk, really? This nigga was a low-level podcaster.
The more I learned about him, I thought, this guy's a modern-day St. Paul. He was a missionary. He's an evangelist. He's a hero. He's one, I think, that knew what Jesus meant when he said the truth will set you free.
He's the one that knew what Jesus meant.
Right. And the
When he
thing
said,
about it is, the only thing he agrees with his anti-black narratives and statements. That's what he agrees with. That's it. That's all.
right, because he said Charlie Kirk is the one who knows what Jesus meant when he said the truth will set you free. And all this man did was go around lying, using bogus ass stats and lying about black people, lying about Trayvon Martin was hunting down George Zimmerman, and lying about George Floyd dying of fentanyl, and just lying.
Right.
So what truth
Right.
is going to set you free? And Jesus and Pope John Paul and all these people you're comparing him to.
His truth was he was anti-black. That's it. That's it.
And to do
Nothing
it,
else.
no, I understand he was pretty blunt and he was pretty direct. He didn't try to avoid any
All right,
controversy.
listen to
He didn't
this.
try to avoid confrontation. The difference is the way, the mode, the style that he did it, always with respect. And not only was that a gracious, kind of virtuous thing to do, it's effective. Because when your opponents see, this guy kind of respects me. We kind of disagree here, but he kind of enjoys me. And he's thanking me for being here. And he's telling me he appreciates the trust I have in him and sharing my views. I thought, this guy can teach us something.
Now, look, that right there, I really wanted to point that out right there. Let me take this off the screen. He's talking about Charlie Kirk's style of debate, how he was very respectful and all of this, and how effective his style was with the debates, because he makes his opponent feel like, oh, wow, this guy actually respects me. Da, 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 da. So a couple of things I want to say about that. They don't say that about Minister Farrakhan.
Right.
Minister
And he was
Farrakhan,
silenced.
Minister Farrakhan is very respectful. You know what I'm saying? Go all the way back to, the 90s and all that, when he was doing Donahue and all of them shows. Minister Farrakhan was always very respectful, just going up there speaking truth to power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he was never belligerent and disrespectful and none of that. But they don't give him that kind of grace to say, oh, he was, even though you disagree with him, he was very respectful. He's a nice guy. They don't say that about Minister Farrakhan and, other people who were very respectful debaters that brought truth to power. I'm just using Minister Farrakhan as an example. But there was many others that we could point to who did the same thing. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, others. You know what I'm saying? And they never say that about them.
Never. And also, Minister Louis Farrakhan was deplatformed.
Right.
He was pushed off of YouTube. He was pushed off of, Facebook, Instagram, everything.
Right. And I want to mention that too, because remember, that was being done by the liberals.
Yep.
When we were going through all of this cancel culture and all of this stuff with people getting silenced and deplatformed and mute R. Kelly and all this other stuff, that was coming from the liberals.
Yep.
And so a lot of Republicans got hit with the cancel culture during the liberal regime. You know what I'm saying? Under Biden and Obama and all of them, a lot of the Republicans got deplatformed and stuff like that. And so they're using Charlie Kirk to try to get their lick back now. That's the reason why they're getting rid of the Jimmy Kimmels and people like that. Yeah, now they in power. Now they got their people up at the FCC and all of that stuff, and the federal courts and all of that stuff. So they trying to use this to get their lick back for all of that cancel culture that came down on them.
Yep.
With Bill O'Reilly and all of these people, you know what I'm saying? This is them getting their lick back. But what he was just saying right there about Charlie Kirk's style, I think that was important too, because you do got a lot of people that fall for that, number one, and then you got a lot of just buck dancing Negroes that give passes because of shit like that. And so
and most of the buck dancing Negroes are tethers. Let's be very clear, majority.
That's true. That is true. But this one, we got to hold this L. This nigga's FBA.
Oh, Van.
Yeah.
What do we expect out of crying Van Jones? Like at this point, nothing that Van says ever surprises me. He's been
Right.
broken and everything a long time ago.
Facts, super facts. But this goes along with what the Cardinal was saying about Charlie Kirk's style, because what he admires about Charlie Kirk's style, let's be clear, the thing that he admires about it is how it disarms people. You know what I'm saying?
That's a strategy.
You're right. It disarms people. It gets them to put their guard down, and like he said, it's effective.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't mean that what you're saying is true. Doesn't mean that what you're saying is facts, but it's an effective strategy for controlling narratives. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got the other person upset. If you're able to push the other person's buttons, but you remain calm and respectful and all of that, regardless to what's being said, you look good in that situation. Right. The optics of it. You know what I'm saying? And so this is why he was eager to take on a Van Jones. He was calling out Van Jones for a debate. And he probably would have watched Van Jones. Watch this. Watch this bullshit.
Censorship, justifying murder about this guy? This guy is reaching out to his mortal...
Fair use, once again, by the way. This is a clip from CNN with Van Jones crying ass. Fair use.
...enemy, saying we need to be gentlemen, sit down together and disagree agreeably. And the next day he's killed. And I've said...
So I don't know if y'all caught that, but he said Charlie Kirk called him the day before he was killed to ask him to do a debate.
That was for ratings, fool.
Right. He wanted Van to come on his show, on his platform, and debate him. And he did catch that part, because he does say, yeah, I probably wouldn't have went on his platform, but you know, I would have wanted to probably do it here or some other neutral place where, you know, we can have the conversation. But I want to get to, and I don't want to play too much of this, but I want to get to the part where, like I said, he's going for that respectful approach that Charlie Kirk so-called had when it comes to debating. He's going for how that humanizes him and makes him a nice guy, even though he's saying all this anti-black shit and dehumanizing black people. He does it in a respectful way, so that humanizes him. Listen to Van Jones.
That on long enough, and I just said, you know what? We're going to Memorial Weekend for this man. We disagree. Everybody knows we were not friends, okay, at all. But you praise the good when it's time to memorialize somebody. And what he did, and I didn't even know it, was good. He was not for censorship. He was not for civil war. He was not for violence. He was for dialogue, open debate and dialogue.
So why y'all allowing them to censor people now?
Right.
People who criticize Charlie Kirk. Why is there no outrage over that? People are being silenced now.
And these are the same people who dogpiled on Minister Louis Farrakhan by calling him anti-Semitic.
Right. Everybody had to get their lick off on Minister Farrakhan.
Every last one of them, Negroes too.
Right. I'll play a little bit more of this clip.
Even with me. If
he says, even with me, of course you light work, you easy work.
Because all you gonna do is cry. Fool.
Right. You easy work. Yeah, he called you to do a debate. Take this off of here. I'm gonna show y'all another example real quick before we move on. Your audio is cracking up nicely. Your audio is bad.
Say something. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's popcorny.
Oh, I think the one that I'm looking for got deleted. Oh, the message that I'm looking for got deleted. Oh, I wanted to play that one. There was a clip. Damn, that clip got deleted, and I ain't gonna probably be able to find it now. But there was a clip where Charlie Kirk was debating. He was at one of his campus debates or whatever. Let me get Nicely back up here. You good?
Yeah, that sounds much better.
Okay, yeah. The clip got deleted. Whoever posted it must have deleted it off their page. But there was a clip where Charlie Kirk was at one of his campus debates, and there was a black girl in the crowd. I don't know what her background is, but it was a black girl in the crowd with a little baby, and they were going back and forth. I forgot what they were talking about, but I wanted to show that because this was an example of what the Cardinal was talking about. He was like, "Oh, such a beautiful baby." He was very complimentary of the girl. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they was talking about, welfare and keeping the black families together. And I really wanted to play that clip to show y'all the slickness. I really wanted to play that clip to show y'all the slickness, because it comes across very respectful, and if you seen this clip in isolation and you knew nothing about Charlie Kirk, average person would be like, "Oh, this the guy that said was a racist. He's not a racist. Look how respectful he is to this black woman right here, and look how
And
he's
she
talking
just
about the
so
baby."
happens to be black. She just so happened to be black with a child that stepped up to the mic. And you don't think all of that is set up? Be all these white folks on the welfare? What is that city in Kentucky
Right,
where 99.9 of them on welfare?
right, right. And he's talking about how, I forgot whatever numbers he threw out about black fathers not being present in the homes, and it's because of this welfare system, and we need to have a welfare system that keeps the families together and lets the men be men, and da da da. And so it kind of sounds like something that we might say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of sounds like that, but I wish I could play it so we could really dissect it and break it down, because like you said, it's a sleight of hand. He's being real slick and fork-tongued with it, but I don't got the clip. But really, truth be told, I got Charlie Kirk fatigue. I don't really want to talk about Charlie Kirk. Like, we content creators, so we got to go along with the algorithm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to put the title up to get y'all up in here to come rock with us. But really, I'd rather talk about something else. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and whoever got time to hop on and join, we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about today. Let's talk about anything else besides Charlie damn Kirk. I really don't care about this.
Right. What did you think though about his wife stating during the memorial service that she forgives the murderer?
I didn't even see it. But
I just seen clips because I'm not looking at it. I have no interest. But I saw a clip, where she did state that she forgives the shooter.
I don't know. I heard a few things about her that was kind of like, kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? When they were talking about how, like when he first got killed or whatever, when she was speaking somewhere, I don't know, she was speaking at something, and people were saying how she wasn't even seem like she was real sad about it or nothing. You know what I mean? And she started politicizing it. She made it, into a political thing. And this is, you supposed to be grieving your husband here, and you over here politicizing. So I don't know.
He
I
was
don't know.
dead like 24, 48 hours, and she was politicizing it. Like, have you grieved yet, ma'am?
Right.
And who is this Chris Focus and Excel? You came in here pretty much talking about we're whining. Nobody whining. No one's whining because we really don't care.
Right. Right. And the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. So anybody that wants to hop on, you could click the link. We could chop it up about whatever you want to chop it up about today. Just want to kick it with y'all, man. See what's on y'all mind.
And so while we're waiting for someone to come up and, to get on some other topic outside of Charlie Kirk and, his passing, did everyone hear about the South Carolina judge who presided over the Dylan, what's his name, Dylan Roof's trial? He was caught. He's been arrested for possession of child porn. I'm codifying the words. He was arrested for possession of
porn.
child porn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that. Not surprised at all.
Right.
He was back then when he was up here talking about, Dylan Roof's family is a victim too, and all.
Right.
He was up there saying, this is their culture.
Right.
This is their culture. He just got caught.
He just got caught. And he's 68 years old, James Gosnell Jr.
Yeah. Let me see what they're talking about in the chat. And I'm still waiting for somebody to click on the link.
And
with us.
The
Let's
thing
see what they
about
talk
this
about.
situation, remember, Trump said that he was going to be tough, you know, not only on drug related, crimes and stuff like that, but child porn, and child um sexual assault situations. He was going to be really, really tough on the predator. So I hope that he makes an example out of 68-year-old James Gosnell Jr. as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Chris seems to be pretty upset with us here today.
Yeah, right.
He was going crazy in the chat.
Right.
Well, the link is in the chat. Shout out to Bunker TV. He said the bar is non-existent. That's a fact.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. It's the
What
Catholic.
bar?
The Catholic Cardinals are cocoa maniacs now. That's a fact. Bunker TV said Charlie wasn't debating; he was just moral grandstanding. Hmm. I've seen black people he disagreed with talk about how he wasn't racist or anti-black. Well, a lot of black people don't even understand what racism and white supremacy is.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
people don't even really understand what that is and how it works. So,
And
and
the reason being is if they don't have tattoos all over their head, with a KKK robe on or skinhead type of stuff, and because it's a pleasant and kind white supremacy, such as
right,
Charlie Kirk, they
right,
don't think of it that way.
and that's really why I wanted to play that clip where he was talking with the black girl because that was a good example of that. Like a lot of black people get it fucked up, and if you don't got a damn KKK mask on and
Right.
you ain't frothing at the mouth calling somebody the N word, then they don't see a racist. The racist some of these white supremacists are the most polite people you will ever meet in your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They down at the library, they down at the bank, they in at the school boards, they in
All
these
that piece.
courtrooms. You know what I'm
And they
saying?
can never ever find it in their heart to convict anyone for the taking the life of a black man, woman, or child. Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown. I mean, we can just go on and on. They can never ever find it in their hearts to convict their own of a crime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me see who we got here. Sorry, somebody click up in here. Where we at? What we got? Who we got here? I don't see nobody. I heard somebody come up in here.
Maybe they
Oh, we
just
got Brother
posted.
Ish. We got
Hey,
Brother Ish
Ish.
in the building. Let's get Brother Ish on here. Peace to the God.
Peace. Can y'all hear
Ish
me?
got time today.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I got time today. Look, I wanted that dude to come on because I was waiting for him to jump on first so y'all could chop it up with him, but he ran like a little, whatever. Come on here, spitting little nonsense and then running like that. That's kind of foul, you know what I'm saying? And I hope you hear me. And this ain't no threat or that, but no, don't talk like that on a show like this where everybody's learning something. Then you come in spitting this nonsense and run. That's not a proper way to have a proper dialogue, in my opinion.
Right.
Anyhow, like you said, I agree with y'all to move on from this Kirkomania because after this little memorial, they're gonna forget about him like yesterday's trash. They're gonna probably memorialize him on the 14th or whatever, but whatever. He's irrelevant. He's persona non grata. But I know y'all are seeing this going back and forth with and I don't want to bring it up in the context of messiness, but to read between the lines of what's happening between Dame and Cameron.
Oh yeah.
And 50.
I don't like it.
Okay.
You said at 50?
I hate.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well,
I'm not all the way in the loop. Then. I'm not all the way in the loop. Brief us on everything that's been going on. What are you talking
about? So 50 is kind of in the middle because him and Dame been going back and forth. Before Dame had his mouth surgery and all that kind of stuff. But the whole 50 and not 50, but Cam and Dame thing, I look at it from a different perspective than what most folks, even high-level podcasters, are talking about their quote-unquote beef. And then the Breakfast Club interview and all of that stuff that our good brother Dewan B broke down pretty well. The one thing I see in between all of that is not just about loyalty, but how you treat someone. You know what I'm saying? They came up with, or you brought up, as quote unquote Dame has and Cam has said himself, for you to go, kind of backstab them, bringing this kid into the whole thing. yeah, they both petty. They're both supremely petty and going back and forth with each other. Now there's this quote unquote $300 million
Lawsuit, yeah.
lawsuit that Dame is throwing out there, about likeness and this, that, and the third on Cam. And now Dame has just issued, I think today, you know, uh, a peace offering for them to sit down and talk about it, other than go back and forth. And Cam is like, no, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. So I hope they can get it together and everybody can see, the things that, Dame has really brought out and fought against the quote unquote industry. As the brother had his flaws, yeah, he's supremely flawed, like the majority of us.
Exactly.
However, what he's shown, in my opinion, is how you do not have to be a subject to 9-to-5ism, is what I call it. You can live in that, but that doesn't have to be who you are. You can be yourself. Okay. Now he's going over the top with that, in my opinion, way over the top. But if you see, quote unquote, and I'm glad you brought this up, Brother Sincere, a couple of weeks ago, God in the nuances, then you really can pull something out of this that we can all use that can be beneficial, other than the pettiness and the foolishness that is going back and forth with him and Cam. One last thing, I mentioned this before somewhere else. I was talking to someone about what Cam did to Adrian Broner.
I didn't like that
And
either.
I'm saying it just like that, what he did to Adrian Broner. Yeah, Adrian Broner has had, and he's the and just to be clear for replay, Adrian Broner is a 3 or 4 division boxing champion. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame. Okay. He has probably 4 or 5 losses on his record. People look at him as a failure because he had the potential to be the heir to Floyd Mayweather, and he quote unquote fumbled that. However, he is a top tier boxing champion when it comes to history. But he's also had admitted mental health issues as well as substance abuse issues. Okay, he's admitted this publicly and tried to reach out for help. From what I'm hearing from other people, reputable sources, is that Adrian Broner was highly intoxicated the weekend of the Crawford and Canelo fight. And from what it looks like, Cam took advantage of that. That's when this was taped.
Right.
And when you have somebody on that like that, then you show up on them like that and try to stun on them to a degree, and then kick him off the show publicly.
Right.
That was
very foul.
And I'll pause right there.
I agree. And my thing is, with you knowing that ahead of time, there was no need for the lights and cameras to be on. You know what I'm saying? You wanted a moment out of this moment. You know what I'm saying? And he used him and, the situation to get, a rise out of everybody for clout for himself. And you used another black man, going through a situation to do that. And that was not cool. I did not like it at all.
I feel y'all. It's a couple of things I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying there, but start off with that whole Adrian Broner incident. I feel y'all on that, and I'm not a fan of Cam. I'm really never been a fan of Cam. He decent on the mic or whatever here and there, you know what I'm saying? But overall, I'm not just a fan of his music. Never been like a fan of his personality, that whole Dipset movement and all that. Okay. That shit always left a sour taste in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because I just the way everything changed in the hood. Like, I went away for a couple of years in the early 2000s, and when I came back, everybody was blood, and it was some Dipset shit. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was wearing Dipset logos and chains and all that shit. And these is my nephews, my little cousins, and the youngest that what I'm saying. Now they coming of age. They coming of age now, and I'm seeing the effect that they had, just on my neighborhood alone in New York. And I'm like, the fuck, this is bullshit. And so I just didn't like them niggas just off of that. I used to be telling my nephews and shit like, them niggas is corny, man. That's who you think. That's who you look up to. That's who you think is fly. Niggas is corny. I always thought that about them niggas, and I still think that about them niggas for the most part. And I'm the type that will try to settle on the best part. Right. You know what I'm saying, of our people. And I try to do that with Dame, you know what I'm saying? And for the most part, I could find some good things to pull out of, like if we go to the Breakfast Club interview, and I'm jumping all over the place here with things that were mentioned, but when we go to the Breakfast Club interview, I was wishing that they would let him build more when he started talking about having a family office and what that means to have a
What that
family
means.
office. You know what I'm saying? Go into
Yes.
the details of how chapter 7 works, chapter 11 works, and how you use
They know.
you know, bankruptcy in order to protect yourself financially and all of that. How you set up your family office to be able to have a separate entity to protect yourself from lawsuits and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? There was some good game that could have came out of that, but it just turned into a clown show on all parts.
All
Game,
parts.
on game part,
Right.
Breakfast Club part, it was just a clown
Yes.
show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so
for sure.
the Adrian Broner thing, I can see what y'all saying about Cam, but I don't think Cam actually expected that moment. You know what I'm
He
saying?
was drunk when he got there, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. But when you come from where we come from, niggas get drunk and high all the time and know how to handle themselves and still know how to carry themselves. So I'm not your babysitter. I'm not responsible for you. You know what I'm saying? I know there was a part on there where he said he wasn't expecting to be on the show that day, but you're on the show. You know that there's cameras and shit in here. You a grown ass man. I'm not your babysitter here. You know, and from the part that I saw, because I didn't watch the whole thing, from the part that I saw, Cam was trying to get to something that had to do with sports, and Adrian Broner just kept going in with old girl, and he asked him multiple times to chill with that. He asked him multiple times to chill with that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like that was a setup, or he was just waiting for a moment to try to embarrass him, or whatever the case may be. Cam is Cam, though. He's a cocky nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so when it came down to that, you know what I'm saying, he did what Cam do. He really stunted on him and big bro'd him on camera. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's kind of on Adrian Broner, in my opinion. That's kind of on him. And like you said about his boxing record and all of that, phenomenal. Very talented brother. And like you say, he didn't really live up to his potential because of his antics and all of that stuff outside the ring. And now we know a lot of boxers suffer from mental health issues, not just Adrian Broner. That's common. That's common in the sport. You know what I'm saying? But when I met the brother a few years ago at one of Elijah fights and all of that, I thought he was a clown then. You know what I'm saying? And we was like, I ain't just shake his hand and that was it. Like we was together for the night. We was all in the same section and all that stuff. And just the way he carried himself that night, I was like, this dude is a clown. And so that's just my impression of him from being around him. And anyway, like he's just not my cup of tea.
Right.
So
what you're saying? Oh, go ahead, Nice. I'm sorry.
The interview though, it's not live, right? So the fact that it's not a live interview, it's recorded. You didn't have to, in my opinion, he didn't have to air that. You could have just trashed it. I'm checked him right there and said, "We'll get at you, and we're gonna do this again when you sober up. I don't appreciate how you talking to the sister. You know, blah blah blah." You didn't even have. None of us needed to know.
True, that's true. But like I said, Cam is Cam.
Exactly. That's it. That's the key. That is the God and the nuances of that situation. Him being him, and the part that you just brought up about Adrian Broner being the person that you knew. Everybody that I've known that have met him personally has said virtually the same thing. So if I know that, and I'm here, and I'm nowhere near this brother, and then he displays that same type of behavior, then we all know that. That's why I started off putting that responsibility on Cam. And we all know that Cam is that type of dude. You see what I'm saying? So I put it where it lies. That I'm not going, as I've always stated, I don't put a jacket on somebody that don't fit. You know, that's one of the biggest things to me to look at. And you know, to juxtapose what you were saying.
But is there no accountability for Adrian Broner though?
Of course.
No, of course. No. Of course. But that's like, you know, I've heard people bring up, you know, I'll have a drunk uncle or somebody go with me and then they get out of pocket. Well, you know their character.
I ain't bringing mine.
You brought him in this situation.
Right.
So that's primarily, not solely, primarily on you. Okay, that person acting up, yeah, y'all got it. You got to share that with them. But primarily, you brought them there. You taking somebody around a dog that you know bite. And he's, oh, no, he don't bite. Then the dog bite him. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're looking at here. So no, Adrian, the grown man, you know, he should carry himself with more respect than that. And other women have come up and said, you know, he's done weird stuff around him. So yeah, he carries that as well. But we all know what Cam is. But you said something a moment ago about the whole Breakfast Club thing I want to bring up as
Yeah.
well, because I was watching Countering Points this weekend, even a show I guess that Charlemagne does with this lady, and they were going over this viral clip about this woman saying that, you know, the Breakfast Club showed more grace to Ben Shapiro than they showed to Dame Dash.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yes and no. There's a yes and no to that, which is to what you were saying, that both of them started acting like that. And what I took away from Charlemagne's response to that video is there is some truth in what he's saying. Dame came in there guns blazing. He came in there being super disrespectful. You see what I'm saying? Because he already had quote unquote beef with them because of some stuff, jabs that they throw, stuff that happened on previous interviews and stuff like that. So he came in there with that. So I think that's where we missed the part where we wanted to hear about bankruptcy, the family office, because you go in there triggering somebody that's easily triggered in Charlemagne. You know, you call them out of their name, even though I don't think you called him out of his name. You know, we see how the brother acts, so it is what it is with that. But you do that, you know, that's still a man. He's going to react to you. And one thing I give Charlemagne credit for, even in the times where people have come up to that show and tried to act tough with him, right? You know, you kind of hear it in the background. He says it quietly. You want to fight. Nobody really responded. Dame did respond like you don't want that. When he did it, when Fredro did that to him, Fredro didn't respond. He kept barking at him, and Charlemagne said, "You want to shoot the 5?" He just kept talking. You see,
same thing with Beanie Siegel. Beanie Siegel went up there. Beanie Siegel went up there barking on him and all that. Charlemagne, he looked dead in the face and said, "Like nigga, I ain't scared of you."
He sure did. That's where we miss, you know, chances for people, not just children. Everybody always talk about the children, but you got some grown, in age adults, you know, with a childlike mentality that need to build on that. We need to see that and see where, you know, if you owe $20 million, and I'm building on what Dwan B said, you owe $20 million, you can't be broke. If you owe that, taxes, how in the world are you broke? And bankruptcy is a part of life when you start to reach that certain financial atmosphere, I should say. You know, that's a part of, that's like, you know, putting on a shirt.
Lawsuits,
most of the cats. All of them. Exactly. And also, I have heard no one say this, you know, and to bring it to, you know, the reality of the average person like myself, even though I don't consider myself average, but not one of notoriety. When folks start to get into serious business, then meaning in professional life, they don't do taxes like we do. They don't look for no returns. You know, I mentioned this on my live the other day. They do taxes quarterly, knowing they got to pay, or looking for ways to, you know, beat the tax code like the Trumps of the world and all these other, and the Musk and all these folks. Not that you're looking to get something back for your earned income. It ain't that type of party. You see what I'm saying? That's where people really want to start to elevate and look towards. And if he would have had he had the opportunity. If he wouldn't have been as triggered as Charlemagne was, and them both, you know, triggering each other, he could have built more on that. I understand what he's talking about with the family,
but most people don't.
Because exactly, that's what we missed in that. And I wanted to make sure, you know, if I had opportunity to say this, so everyone else can listen to that, and then trying to peel back some of those layers, and that taps into something else I know you've been talking about all weekend that had me hyped. Is our man Jay dropping? You did.
Hold on. I just want to say, don't get me hyped, but I just want to say,
Sincere be getting, he get a little tingle in his body when it comes to a drop.
Pause. Well, I just wanted to say, we have had some financial experts on this channel. If y'all go back and look at the Black Business Showcase, I can't think of any particular titles off the top of my head, but there's playlists on this page with the Black Business Showcase where we have people giving a lot of good financial games. So y'all might want to go back, if y'all new here, go back and check out some of those joints, because that is important information to know. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to estate planning, when it comes to, like you said, navigating the tax code, you know, life insurance, all of these different things, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of us, we was just never taught these things. You know what I'm saying? They just told us, you know, go to school, get a good job, and hopefully you got a 401k or IRA or something like that. But it's a lot more to the game where we can actually create generational wealth and protect it through these different strategies. You don't necessarily have to be a rapper or a music industry mogul or somebody like Jay-Z or like Dame Dash and these guys who made millions of dollars in entertainment to be able to use those strategies. All of us can use those strategies. We just gotta learn the game.
Right.
Well,
And the other part that I wanted to take from that interview too is, or the only thing that I didn't like say after the interview is the Breakfast Club went on this whole fact checker thing when it came to him being some type of chairman for Revolt and stuff like that. So they got all these people issuing statements like, oh, he's not, a chairman, or he's not doing it. Like, you guys didn't do any fact checking or after the show with Ben Shapiro, but you're gonna do that with Dame. Like, after the show was done, I feel like it could have just been done. You know what I'm saying? But now everybody's doing these fact checking. I didn't like
I've
it.
seen
I don't
that.
like it.
I've seen that criticism, and that sounds valid. I didn't see the who was it? Ben Shapiro interview. I didn't see that, but I've seen that take that you just gave some people online. Oh, you did this with them, but you didn't do this with them, and I feel that. But did Dame just go up there and lie though? Did he just go up there and lie?
So it wasn't. I don't think there was a lie. From my understanding, it was something that he was working on. They were just waiting to do the announcement. Though.
Dame went up there and lied, man.
No, I think they were waiting to do some type of announcement. It wasn't something that he was supposed to talk on yet. But I think obviously being cocky, being in the moment.
And Charlemagne was calling him out on it too, because it's the same thing that he said Cam did when Cam prematurely announced that he was the president of Rockefeller.
President Rockefeller, VP of Rockefeller.
That fucked up a lot of shit with their business by him putting that out there prematurely. He did the same. He just did the same thing.
Yeah.
Great point.
You know what I'm saying?
Point.
Even if it was just about the ink not being dry and the deal not being done, even if it was just about that, but based on the statement from the dude over at Revolt, and I think he's a tether, the guy that they got running Revolt.
I'm sure.
But based on the statement that he put out there, it seems like more than just the ink wasn't dry. It seemed like it was just straight up some fabrications. Like, damn, you just went on this big ass platform and capping like that. Like,
yeah. He was triggered, and I'm talking Dame, and the reason I say that because you're both, right to a degree from what I've seen about the whole deal. Yeah, people have come out and said no, he was straight up lying. He's not going to be the quote unquote president, and even Dame's words, he's kind of tripping over himself after the fact about, well, I'm the president of what I'm putting out. I'm like, no, brother, that's not what you said and how you came on. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's a great point that you put out, is why, he was saying that, Dame even came out recently and said that Cam doing that messed up him and Jay's relationship to the point where it's at now. I don't believe that to be true. I believe Dame's actions did that. That may have been a part of it, but his actions and popping the way he was and doing some of the stuff that, a quiet, reserved person like Jay is, he doesn't respect. And, he went the other route, quote unquote, whether the person agrees or disagrees with that or not. So yeah, it's all jacked up. But if you look at the beginning, and I only saw parts that I haven't watched the whole interview, but you look at the very beginning of it, when he's getting up and getting down, he's triggered. He is supremely triggered to a point to where he wants physical confrontation, but he stays.
You don't want to get sued. You don't want to get sued now.
But that's the point. That's the point that I was saying too. And I don't know if I said it in the video that I put up, but I was thinking it. If I didn't say it, it just displayed a lack of self-control. You know what I'm saying? A lack of emotional maturity and emotional intelligence. And you up here talking about somebody not being a good example of manhood. And now I agree with you. Charlemagne is not. Charlemagne is not a good example of black manhood. But the way that you carried yourself on that show wasn't either.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
The pot can't call the kettle black.
That's a fact, brother. No, not in this case. No, not in that case.
Even when he had the OG come up there and speak, he still couldn't contain himself. He still had to keep interjecting and cutting dude off. It's almost like he didn't even trust his own OG to hold it down and say what needed to be said and to represent. He couldn't just fall back and sit. He had to just keep getting up and just being, gesticulating all over the place and all that. I'm like, man, this nigga like he got ADHD or something. Take your meds.
It's because he wanted a physical confrontation. I personally believe that. because people that follow Dame, and I'm not a fan. I don't believe I'm a fan, but you've seen the brother get busy on the mitts, boxing or whatever. And when he gets angered like that, he gets physical.
That
Steve
Harlem
Stout
come
and
out.
other people like that. Right. So I think he was trying to contain himself from that. And Charlemagne and Envy giggling
Like two
made it
little.
worse.
They
Hey,
do.
I can only imagine how that makes it worse. But again, you do not go in there poking on their platform. I don't care what you think about them. They could say, and this is a great point that Charlemagne made, even though I find myself, in a weird space saying that about the brother. He said Ben Shapiro didn't come on there antagonizing. He said some things that were, disparaging and not correct or whatever the case may be, or they disagreed upon, but he didn't come in there with that type of energy. You bring that to a black man from another black man, yeah, we're going to get triggered. That's how it goes. I don't care who he talking to.
But isn't that kind of weird? Like we get so triggered with each other, and yes, this Ben Shapiro said a lot of stuff, but was there any pushback? Because the problem with everyone is all of the things that Ben Shapiro was saying, there was really no pushback. They were just letting him talk and get it off, but there was no pushback.
That's because they're inept, though, not because I don't think Charlemagne was triggered by Dame Dash. I think Charlemagne gets off on that. That's for him. He's like, okay, this is about to go viral. This is views and ratings. This is good radio. He's looking at it from that standpoint. So he's not even taking it serious. If you watch him throughout the whole thing, he's looking for opportunities to make it escalate and explode. He's not taking it serious. He's not really in his feelings. He don't care about you saying he gay. None of that shit don't really bother him.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. That's a good point. That's a very good point. He don't.
So
he don't care. No, he don't. He showed.
He won. Yeah.
To a degree, yeah. No. Y'all are speaking great facts. Both points y'all brought up are nailed on the head, and those are the things I think we need to continue to discuss and bring out for the family to chop it up about. Even if you want to go any further, and I don't know if y'all ever talked about this because I know y'all missed a week or two here about the Sierra. Russell Wilson Future thing. Did y'all ever discuss that?
The fact that they changed Future's son last name to Wilson.
Yeah, hyphenated.
It's hyphenated. And you know what? I'll say this. I don't think it was necessary, to be honest. And I think that a lot of things that are going on is to poke the bear in a way. And I saw that Future just posted something. He just put, I don't give a F. And it was just something, like that or whatever. But I don't see the point in all that. And I think that they're still poking at the man for whatever reason. And you don't need to do that. We understand that you're a family. We understand that you are a role model to their son, his stepfather, whatever. And I don't think certain things are necessary. What point are you guys getting, by poking this man? Because at the end of the day, she chose him. He had a bunch of kids when Sierra laid with him. So her child is no better or no different than the rest of them to me.
But how many kids her and Russell got?
Together, 3.
Like 3, I think.
They got 3 together plus Future.
They have 3 together, yeah.
And so I would really have to know like the dynamics of the relationship in order to really judge, and I don't know. So I can't really say, but I can see. I'll just say I can see certain scenarios where that would make sense. I can see certain dynamics where that could make sense to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I
go deeper with that.
Like, if the father, the biological father, is not super present, and we got this whole built-in family over here where everybody got the same last name except for my one child here. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of unify that and let him know that,
he's not an outsider.
Yeah, he's not an outsider. You know what I'm saying? The hyphenated that last name thing. It could be done. That I could see that in certain situations.
But I feel like Future just he doesn't post himself with any of his kids. That doesn't mean he's absent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't
feel
know
the need to share that with the world versus Russell Wilson and Sierra. That's kind of part of their brand.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, so I
It
just
is.
felt like, I don't know. I felt sometimes it feels like, it's little digs taken, that's unnecessary. And also let's talk about Cardi B, who's
Oh
not even divorced, pregnant by a
But
whole
before
new
y'all go there,
dude. You know what I'm saying? Doing interviews with Kale,
yeah, yeah,
Kale. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Sound, yes, I'm
yeah,
pregnant by my boyfriend. Honey, you have a whole husband. You sound
yeah,
stupid.
yeah,
You went from wife,
yeah,
regardless of the situation that's going on. You went from a wife to still going through a divorce. Talking about I'm pregnant by my boyfriend, who also has
yeah.
infant children. Baby mamas recently had that. Like, what are you doing?
really?
Yes.
Yeah,
She
before,
pride she prides
yeah,
herself on
before,
being ratchet though. Like she prides herself on being
of
ratchet.
course, she,
This
she
is
living it.
this is
She living.
ratchetness.
She bought that life. She bought that
She
life.
about that life,
But
because how she's brought up. However, she also tried to pride herself on being a wife. You know what I'm saying? And holding my
she
family
did.
down, and like this is
She did.
Carter B right here, the entertainer. But Becca Lee's, which is her real name, is the wife, the mother. Holding it down for my family. Blah blah
Right.
blah. So it's like, ma'am, you can't have it both ways.
Mm.
Because you being
So
pregnant
let
by
me interject.
Stefan is Becca Lee's is pregnant, not Cardi B.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's good, great points. But look, to me, talking about her is like talking about the Kirkomaniacs out here. It's kind of like
But
whatever.
we gotta let Nicey get
Okay.
that off because if we
Oh,
go
for
into
sure,
jail
for sure, for
Electronica,
sure,
she
for
gonna be
sure.
lost in the sauce. So we
No,
gotta
yeah,
let
no,
Nicey
literally.
get it.
I don't like the optics of it. And again, she's not of our culture. And we know that. You know what I'm saying? But
At all.
Offset is of our culture. You know
Is
what I'm
he?
saying? He's even, yeah, he's FBA.
No, he
He's
is.
from the South.
He's FBA.
And also he
Yeah.
has children that he had before her,
Mm-hmm.
but his parents are
Mm-hmm.
still married to this day. He comes from a
Mm.
two-parent home. His
Okay.
family, his
Okay.
parents are still together. So obviously the choices that he made, to have children and be unwed prior to her, is one thing, but he got with her, he married her, they have 3 children together. One who was just born maybe a year ago, or not quite at a year
Yeah.
yet, and you're already
Soon.
pregnant again by another dude.
Mm-hmm. No, true indeed. You know, you one of y'all mentioned. I think Sincere just said she's not of the culture.
No,
She's not. However, what she does is and the key word our brother coined is tethers on to the culture.
1,000.
She is right there wanting to be in the mix completely with the culture. Everything that she does emits
All
black
of it.
culture. There's nothing that she does that emits. I think she
No,
Puerto
she's
Rican. I can't remember.
Dominican and
Dominican.
Dominican
Okay.
and Trini. If I'm not, her mom's Trini and her dad's Dominican.
Okay. Okay, but there's nothing outside of the little side vitriol that she'll show when she's really
Hmm.
triggered, that wants to say, "Oh, forget y'all," when she really
She
exploits the
has.
culture. That's what she
She
does.
has
She
though.
is a true exploitation of the culture. You might as well put blackface on with
Yeah,
white lips,
exactly.
in my
She's called
opinion.
Black Women
That's
Roaches.
what she's doing.
You know what I'm saying? She said a lot of
Absolutely,
anti-black, and then,
absolutely.
honestly, she was on the Breakfast Club a day after Dame, and every other word was N-word, N-word, and this N-word, and so I went in on the Breakfast
Yes,
Club comments, and I was like, we don't want to hear you say that no more. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because
saw
it's
that.
like every other word, and when she was using the word, she was saying it to her husband, Offset. This
Yes,
end, and this
yes.
end, this and this end, that, like the whole thing. And I'm like, yo, that's not your word, ma'am.
Exactly. In a very
Very.
derogatory fashion. So she uses it, as well as I don't know the word to put together here, the way that she rides the
Hmm.
culture. Because now you got one half, and I only peek at it, one half of the culture saying, "Oh man, she's gone platinum," to where nobody's buying her stuff or listening to her stuff,
Yeah, I don't
streaming or
think
whatever.
Oh,
anybody's
I can
saying
speak on
this.
that.
Okay, it's well, go ahead,
I can
brother.
speak on that because you know how they manipulate and play with the
Hmm.
numbers now when it comes to streaming. So I didn't listen to the album. I didn't even look at the
Me
track list or
neither.
anything. But from what I understand, um, she included songs that already been out for a couple of years now.
Right.
And so when you
Mhm.
include those songs on your album, those streams, all those streams that they've been racking up the whole time they've been out, count towards your sales. So
Mm,
Crazy.
that's
okay.
how you platinum already. You know what I'm saying? Because you got all of these old songs on there and
Interesting.
all of that. But some of the stuff that she was doing as far as her marketing and promotion and all of that stuff was good. I think a lot of artists could take some cues from what she was doing. She went back to like the old street team style, but she was doing it herself. You know, she was out there on the train, she was out there on the streets, you know, with the CDs, hard copies and all of that, pushing that merch, and pushing that thing. So she understands, yeah, we gotta have certain optics when it comes to streaming, but in order to really get that paper, you have to do some transactions. You're gonna have to really connect with the audience directly. You know what I'm saying? Because streams, look, yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. That's our old style. Like we invented that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas coming straight out the trunk with it, Master P, and you know what I'm saying? Guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Nipsey, shout out to Nip. You know what I mean?
Sure. For sure. She was even, I don't know if y'all caught it, and maybe not you, Nicey, but me and Sincere right here in the area. She was out there in Riverdale not too long ago, a couple of days ago. She was just in Riverdale doing the same thing you're talking about. So it's a form, from what I'm understanding, of guerrilla marketing, you know, that's kind of backtrack from the guerrilla marketing that we see now on the internet, to where now people are going back to quote unquote somewhat popping the trunk, or just doing, you know, pull-up shows or pulling up where people wouldn't expect to see you.
I like that.
Touching the folks. That's the wave right now.
Who's really going to see her though? Cardi B can barely talk. You
Cardi
can
B is
barely
very popular.
understand what she's saying when she's talking, let alone when she's rapping.
Yeah.
Cardi B is very popular.
She's very popular.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to sound like I'm defending the girl, but
I know she's popular. She's popular from doing Love and Hip Hop, you know, her antics and stuff like that. You know, she hasn't put out an album.
She got hits too, bro. She got hits.
And also she doesn't write. Who's writing for her?
Right. People don't care about that. That don't matter.
No. Yeah, that's nothing in 2000.
That do not matter. She got points.
But yo, it got past me because we talked about, you know, Cardi B. That whole thing, I'm glad y'all had two different perspectives with the, you know, Russell Wilson, Sierra, and Future thing. Here's where I come with a different perspective from that, and I've been loud and clear about it, is I think that all three are wrong. All three of them. The only person that is innocent is the child. And let me be clear on why. Okay. And I'll break down each one of them, of course, leading the sister for last. Starting off with Future. Number one, when you hear this, and maybe he heard about it on the internet, I'm not sure if they notified him with legal paperwork or whatever. The minute that happens, your FBA spirit should kick in and say, time out. Whether I've been a good father or not, he is whatever Future's last name is. Let's just say he's a Thomas. My daddy's a Thomas. He's still living. My grandmama, his aunties. So you're cutting him off from them. Oh no, that's I'm gonna say war cry when you do that to and this is a boy. No disrespect to our sisters, but we know the boy carries the lineage, the name. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't get rid of it though, y'all said though, right? They didn't get rid of it. They hyphenated it.
They hyphenated it, which causes confusion. Because we don't necessarily do that in our community. No. That's like a quote unquote Spanish thing or whatever. No disrespect to anybody that does that, but we don't normally do that. You have a few folks that do that, but we don't do that, especially in a blended family situation like that. So that's what I put a lot of that on him for not responding or whatever in a proper manner. From what I
agree with that. I agree with that. I've always been like that myself.
Moving on to Russell. Okay, Russell, you just. Man, I was riding with Russell, but when he is jumping on the bandwagon with this thing, and he supposedly put out some text or tweet to the dude, you know, taking shots at him, talking about him not paying child support or whatever. I don't know if that's fake or not. But whether that's fake or not, for him to go along with this and have his name tied to a son that's not his blood kin, yeah, that kind of, you know, leads to what some of the red pill cats were saying, that he was the SIMP. I don't like that word, you know, being associated with so many black men that stand up and do the right thing, which I saw him doing, which is taking care of the family that he has, no matter who's there, you know, because I ain't going to go into the whole stepdad thing. That's a totally different, that's probably a whole show by itself. My point is, for him to go along with that, whether she brought him to him, he brought it to her, they just agreed upon it, is super soft to me. You respect that man regardless of who and what he is. He could be a triple murderer. That family ain't triple murderers.
And you
Okay,
chose them.
this ties to our history and chattel slavery in this country and how we were divided and sold in domestic slave trade. That is heavy on us, and we should never let that go, in my opinion. I'm very, very passionate about lineage and people's name, regardless of who the person is. A person can be a white person or whatever the case may be. You tie yourself to that name and that lineage. That's who and what you are. You can't run from it. You know, we don't run from the sellouts or whoever that's in lineage that's FBA. You know, the Jesse Lee Petersons of the world, the Thomas Souls of the world, they are who they are. The Roland Martins of the world, they are who they are. Well, Roland ain't us. Let me back up from that.
Right. I understand what you're saying, though, but I agree with that. You know, even though I said, you know, I could see some scenarios where that could be, you know, okay. Me personally, being in them situations, I always been the type of dude that you describing. You know what I'm saying? I've always handled it like that. His father is his father. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm never going to be that. You know what I'm saying? His father is his father. I'm going to still do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But, I never even, you know, had my wife's son call me dad or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Call me by my name.
And I get that from my elders. And that comes from my elders. That's not something that I got from the internet. That literally, and one of my elders and I had a similar discussion a few weeks ago. That child has nothing to do with that. The decisions y'all made when y'all made that child. Okay, y'all got to sit down and be adults about that and let them know, hey, he might be this and he might be that, but that's still your father or your mother. Mothers too, you know what I'm saying? Which leads me to the last point about Sierra. Man, yeah, she's whole wrong for even allowing that to happen, because they're going to look at her for primarily being the person that kicked it off. I don't know if she did.
I honestly think she is. And I remember
that's what it looks
when she was dating Future, she was acting like him. She had the faux locks and all that. She turns into whoever she's dated at the time. That's how she is. You know what I'm saying? She's one of those,
and
a
that's
chameleon.
Okay. Yeah. And that's okay to a degree. You know, we understand how that goes in male and female relationships to a certain degree. But to push this off, you know, the confusion in that child is what bothers me. And the family.
How old is he?
Yeah,
exactly. He's like maybe 11 or 12.
He's a preteen. He's a preteen. Yeah, he's a preteen.
And she's been married to Russell. Y'all got 3 kids together. You could have did this a long time ago, not now. And he also has Future's name. He's a junior. So it's like,
exactly.
What are you doing? Like, he's been his father's name. He looks just like his father to me. Dead ass on his father. Okay. You know, to do it now as a preteen.
Yeah. To me, those types of conversations, the one like that with Dame, and this is why y'all's platform is so important, and the way that you bring out these discussions, you know, these discussions that need to be had. That's why I wish the dude would have clicked the link to have a decent discussion, an honorable discussion that y'all have had on this platform before with people that disagree.
He said that he was unfollowing us because we're ignorant.
Oh, that's good. Hey, good for him. You know, go somewhere else and, you know, sit in your echo chamber. Hopefully that makes him grow. Most likely it won't. You know, you can't get any light by staying in your own little bubble like that. It is what it is, we do. But that's all I wanted to share with y'all.
Hold on.
Okay, what's up?
They call me J Electronica. Fuck that. Call me J Elect Hanukkah, J Elect Yamaka, J Elect Tramadan, Muhammad Assalamaka, Rasulullah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala through your monitor.
Not you knowing the words already.
Oh no, that's old. That's old. But nah, this nigga.
Yeah, that's old one. That's old.
Listen,
I like that too. So
what you was gonna say? You brought it up.
Look, listen. I was driving and talked about the whole experience with the leaflets that he dropped. That was the more powerful one to me. The other part was good, but leaflets was a little bit more powerful. Yeah, you know, it's tomato and tomato to a degree. Here's the thing, and I was talking, probably saw me talking to RP about this in the chat. Here's the thing that, you know, I don't think people understand, and I said this when I was live, about this brother and how he brings forth a project. This is a project, I call it. I wouldn't call it an album or whatever. It's a project. These are projects he put out. In the method and the manner, you may not even be down meaning a listener, might not even be down with the ideology of the Nation of Islam. That's fine. You might not know nothing about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's fine as well. But it's almost like two of Kendrick's albums that he put out that were not really felt by the masses. They were more critically acclaimed. To Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale. When you think about it in that fashion, I see it more as something that's bigger than just a hip hop album. It's something that you mentioned, Sincere. It's bigger than hip hop album. When you listen to it and the way that it was produced, not beats, okay, the way you're tying in a message with the minister, okay, when he's talking about male and female relationships. And to me, the brother strategically putting these things in there because of what's going on in the quote unquote algorithm. Black and male, male and female warring, this whole thing, this whole nonsense that's going on, you know, red pill, blue pill nonsense. He puts that in there. And there's another piece in there. I just heard it again today. I've listened to this one part like 6 or 7 times for a reason. And it's when he's talking, it's leading into greatness. I forget the name of the track, but there's a small snippet from HBO Boxing when it's like, oh my goodness, it was Gil Clancy giving a scorecard. And if I remember correctly, it was a Roy Jones Jr. scorecard without saying his name.
Middleweight, yeah.
Exactly. You tie that in to everything that he's putting together. It's masterful the way he weaves and puts these songs together and the sound that it does if you are sitting back and you just absorb it. That's the way I see the things that he's putting out. And to have Dr. Wesley heavy on the EP that he called it is major. Even look at the song, and it's called a song, Who Killed Michael Jackson? He didn't even mention Michael's name. Right. But if you're listening, you're kind of catching what he's saying, you know, the things that he's putting out and saying, okay, who killed him? Listening to who he's talking about in the rhymes, in the rhythm. He's giving you who killed Michael Jackson.
In his own way, yeah. Same thing. Same thing with the title of the song. Is it possible that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is still physically alive? That's the title of the song.
That's a long title.
Yes.
It's a long ass title. Is it possible that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is physically still alive? And what I notice is sometimes the sounds, the skits, for lack of better words, that he brings in at the end of the song is really leading to the next song. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that I think that comes on after the Michael Jackson joint. And so
it does. Before.
At the end of the Michael Jackson joint, he got that long thing on there with the former military dude that's talking about the mother will, and basically the government admitting that they've had contact with the mother will and confirming everything that Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam have been teaching. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen outlets out there are, you know, talking about JLX's album, and they're talking about, he's pushing a lot of conspiracy theories and da. And it's like, this is the government speaking in their own words. He just letting them speak in their own words. He ain't twisted up nothing. And he didn't even just use a little sound bite. It's like 3-4 minutes long. you know what I'm saying? And that's at the end of the one song. And then the next song is about, is it possible that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is still alive? And so if you study, you know, the NOI history, and I guess you call it philosophy, ideology, whatever you want to call it, if you're familiar with that, then you know that that's a thing. It's possible that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad still is alive on the mother will. You know what I'm saying? So he got all of this mother will talk all throughout the joint. Then he got the government confirming the existence of the mother will. And then the question of the next song is it possible that Elijah Muhammad is still alive? Yeah. And he got some excerpts from him and all that. It's not an album. This shit is like it's like a documentary with a dope ass score to it. You know what I'm saying? Like
do I give Muslim Woman to you guys, by the way? Do I give Muslim Woman?
I can see it, you know.
You can, because a lot of people
we can get some free-false cloth on you.
People keep asking if I'm Muslim. They've even asked my son, and I'm like, do I give Muslim?
I could see you rocking the burqa.
We can get you some free-false cloth, you know what I mean?
sure, for sure,
I
for
have been
sure,
hearing this
for sure.
lately,
They look
like
at
It's
the
not on
radiance.
no.
crazy.
It's the radiance, right? Right. It's the radiance.
Radiance. That's really what it is. Seriously, they look at radiance, and when they see, especially our sisters in the Nation of Islam and the MGT sisters, they see radiant sisters who stand upright and hold themselves in a particular,
Way.
And
Right.
glow.
order.
And glow
They
for
don't
real.
they don't carry themselves right. They're serious as well, and you come off very
I'm gonna start
serious
claiming that.
on here. They don't play around. Them sisters don't play around at all. That's why, to me, it's an honor if
Oh,
somebody
I'm
says that
honored.
to you,
Don't
in
get me
my
wrong, but
opinion.
I was just like, I didn't know what if that was giving. My son literally just told me this today. Like, I was just asked the other day if you were Muslim, and I was like, no, my mom's not Muslim. I was like, what
And
about
also,
me?
and
And this is
also,
not the first time.
but a lot of 85ers, they just put all conscious black people in a
They
Muslim
do.
Okay.
category. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you dropping any
Yeah.
type of jewels, you spitting knowledge, you got any type of consciousness, oh, you must be
You
Muslim.
Yep.
automatically.
You know what I'm saying?
You must.
Especially,
Yes.
especially on the
Yeah,
East
that
Coast.
is
West
true.
Coast, y'all got like the Panthers and shit like that, so it might be a little
Right.
different. You know what I'm saying? But well,
Right.
on the East Coast, it's associated with Muslims. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So if I
It
was
is.
cool,
Even
then would I
down
be
south to a
considered a
degree.
Christian? I'm just asking questions.
Why you gonna do
I'm just
that?
asking questions.
Nasty starting some shit. Now that's the reason. That's
Yeah,
the
you
reason
can
why the Crusades happened.
I'm
That
just
type of
saying.
shit
I'm
right
asking
for
there.
sure.
questions.
Mm.
God
Because a
damn.
lot of people think
Hilarious.
that about Zahelia, raw life, self defense, my sister. How she carries
Okay.
herself,
Okay.
how, she's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Right.
But think about it though, what you're saying, and I'm glad you brought it up because you know, for anybody that doesn't know, and anybody see the replay on this, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was born in Sandersville, Georgia, which is off of 20, going towards Augusta. Okay. The things that he brought forth in the way that he structured the nation, and never have been a member of the Nation of
Right.
Islam.
I
However,
respect them.
I consider myself to be a 5%er from back in the day, over 30 something years ago when I got knowledge of self. And I've always, kept myself as living upright. But I don't necessarily attribute that just to being, a 5%er. I attribute that to my lineage as well. Okay. And when you say that, that's what that brings my mind to the lineage of our women. I mean, not the lineage of our women, the way that our FBA women have always held themselves in high regard. Always. Okay. The
Right.
majority of them. Of course, yes. We got the underbelly.
Right.
Sure. Even back in the day, in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, there was the ratchet crew. There was everybody that was doing whatever they did. However,
That shit just get the most
we
shine.
still,
It's not the most common. It just gets the most shine.
Especially now.
Especially now. That's why when they see you, they say, okay, they see you in an extreme view from the way that they really probably should see reality. They don't take their glasses off and say, okay, this is really how foundational Black American women carry themselves. That's what that's about to me. And that's what that ties in to me, which also ties in to the whole Jay Electronica thing. He's from New Orleans.
Okay, I was going to ask you guys
There
if
are
he was from
lines
New
on-
York. So he's from New Orleans.
Yeah.
No, you would think so if you didn't, if you listen to his rhymes, he got that New York style
And you
and
can hear
pattern.
that accent though.
And I followed oh, it's all there. That accent is there 100%. But I followed the brother since he first dropped his first street album, Who the F is Jay Electronica, which to me is one of his greatest projects, if not his greatest project. The point about that is there was a little rift between him and the RZA because they were saying, oh, he's sounding like them. The RZA saying he sounded like us from New York, but then he was dropping quote unquote knowledge. And then he had an album before that, which was kind of garbage. My point about that is you can't run from who you are unless you do what I like to call an exorcism, and you just go full coon, then that's something different. That's something else. I don't know nothing about that life. But I do know that regardless of, which ideology, it's going to lead you back to your foundation if it is solid. And the majority, I'm going to say the majority of foundational Black Americans families, there is a foundation, even if it's two people that are still holding on to those traditions, values, and norms that brought us out of slavery and had over 60 Black towns, across the United States. That doesn't come out of nowhere, and it's still here prevalent And in my opinion, it's being reawakened
Thank
in us
God for that.
who sit here in this
That's a
knowledge today.
fact. That's a fact. But yeah, I just want to say, man, these projects, these J Electronica projects, what a pleasant surprise. You know what I'm saying? For me,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good, man. Pause.
So,
It's great. No, it's
Sincere,
great.
how do you know about all these drops? Because it'd be like something random, and all of a sudden I'm like, he's like J Electronica, whatever. How do you know? Are you on some type of alerts? Was this a surprise drop that you know the album was coming out? How do you be knowing?
I know. I didn't know it was coming out. How did I know this album came out? Like I said, first, I follow him on Instagram. I don't follow a lot of celebrities. But people that I want to keep up with what's going on with them, you know what I'm saying? I started following more lately because I was out the loop with a lot of people. I'm starting to realize you saying I be knowing shit, but I'm behind on I'm catching up to a lot of shit because I think I kind of gave up to a certain degree on like real hip hop that I grew up off of for a long time. But it's been there. It's been there this whole time. I just wasn't tapped in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I'm just really getting caught up. But with the J Electronica thing, he was posting all week leading up to the day that he dropped the project. He was posting old songs, which he does from time to time.
Yes.
He does that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He'll put like a Minister Farrakhan clip and have one of his old songs playing or something like that. So I didn't really think nothing of it, but it made me go listen to him though, because he posted Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And it was on Tidal, and I knew it wasn't on Tidal before, so I'm like, oh, this is on Tidal, and so it made me. It
was dated.
Now I don't gotta go to some. I listen to music on Tidal. I don't really listen to music on other sites. So if I wanted to listen to J Electronica, normally I gotta go on SoundCloud or some other shit. Mm-hmm. So when I seen it was on Tidal, I'm like, oh shit, let me go hit the play button, and I seen it had a different cover, and so I'm like, okay, this is weird. Right. And then every day after that, he was posting more music. More of his old music. And then then that album came and I was like, oh shit, this is new. I never heard this.
Right. I found out because I'm on his YouTube page, and I only got on that because of the project him and Jay put together. And I just kept the alert on because I believe he put it out on there first. And I saw, like you, Sincere, I saw the change on the album cover. But initially when I saw the song titled Abracadabra, I believe he has another one from 10, 15 years ago. And I'm like, okay, he just putting those, and then when you came, I said, wait a minute. Oh no, this is different. You see what I'm saying? I'm Sincere and I are kind of in the same vein when it comes to the music that we love. I'm way out of the loop with a lot of stuff, but I found myself now following some of the artists that I love and respect their artistry more. And when they drop something, then I'll get an alert. That's how some of the stuff is coming up now. But I think it's kind of, poetic, for lack of better terms, that some of these artists from the 90s and the 2000s still have that quote unquote 70s era soul music staying power than some of the folks from today. They can't sell, a 10-seater.
2025 showed you that. 2025 showing that. Like
into 24 with Kendrick, rolling on into where we are now. These have been classic projects or albums or whatever they want to call them. That's that, and that's why I mentioned that as well. Kendrick kind of kicked it off with GNX. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. The very minute I heard it, I said it's classic. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to go back and forth. But I knew at that point, in my opinion, that was a classic album. And to me, it's going to stand the test of time as a classic album. And when I look at classics, and I'm a critical reviewer of hip hop, when I say that, you have to hit certain marks. You got to get something that, of course, the women and everybody else that don't know you are going to get into. It's going to make them get up and do something. You know what I mean? You got to come across with a little bit of knowledge, bring something that nobody talked about. You have to be personal, bring out some personal perspectives about yourself. And it has to have a certain feel. That entire album rode a certain feel and appeal. You got people from all genres. I'm not even going to talk about the Not Like Us song, but the Luther joint. They love that song. There could be a cajillion TikToks with people doing excerpts of the Luther song. So what does that do? That ties them in. Oh man, let me go pick up that Luther Vandross album from '85. That is classic material to me. You see, the same happened with Ghostface. The same happened with Raekwon. They tied back into their essence. And I keep going back to this, their foundation. And when you go back to that built you up, you can't lose. You know, Jay Electronica did that to a degree, you know, to a certain degree. That's how he came into the game, spitting knowledge and stuff like that. You know, he's sticking with that. It's not going to, I said this the other day. He's like Dave Chappelle in comedy, in my opinion.
Good one.
You know,
that's
a lot of people, black folks don't necessarily, a lot of black folks, he ain't funny to me or whatever. But if you don't even have to have your third eye open. You just listening a little bit. You're like, oh, I see what you're on. Okay, now I get it now. It's that type of thing, in my opinion, with Kendrick. You got, all day. You got Ghostface, you got Raekwon, you got the Clips, you got even, you know, you go on the R&B side of the game with Leon Thomas, you know, something like those projects, and some of these old quote unquote older cats that are still got staying power out there. That's what that energy is out there, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
What you was gonna say, Nicely?
So, you know, what's his name? The guy who always say, he's like, it's all happening. He was in Microphone Check. I cannot think of his name. And I'm sorry.
Justin Hunt. Justin Hunt.
So he did a video, and I saw it on X, and then I kind of looked at it. But I guess they're being critical of the baby because he did some freestyle, and in that freestyle, he brought up that unaliving of that Ukrainian woman on the bus. And everybody
that was in his town. That was in Charlotte too, right?
Yeah, and so they're being heavily critical of him for rapping about this white woman.
He said he just said like a slick little line about it or something.
Yeah, like in the song, and they're just like, you know, in today's climate, like I don't know why he would do that. He's trying to be relevant and blah blah blah. And I was just like, over this. Like I was shocked, honestly, when I saw it, and then I was going in the comments, and I was like, "Really over this?" Yes,
I'm gonna have to check it out. The baby, he's not as nice as he think he is. He always do these freestyles with LA Leakers and all these different platforms. He really think he a spitter like that. Like, nigga, you not really like that, my nigga. Like, just.
He got bars.
I liked him in the beginning. He ain't came out with nothing recently.
He ain't no top tier dude. He got bars.
He's a good artist, I think, but he's not the type of nigga that just turn the beat on and just let me do my thing. Like, no, nigga, you don't rhyme like that. Nigga. No.
But to your point, to both of y'all's point, he does come out and does do stuff like this. He's been known for that. And I ain't gonna say poking the bear, but he's known to taking little shots like that and saying things that are kind of off brand and off filter. Remember what got him quote unquote canceled when he talked about the LGBTQ community to a degree. So this is
on brand,
kind of, you know, it's kind of who he is.
I gotta check it out.
What got me was them like being upset about.
Yeah, you were surprised. You were surprised that they were criticizing him,
right? And the criticism is basically him rapping about that situation. It's like
I gotta hear what he actually said.
It's hip hop.
That's what I was gonna say. Like it's hip hop, so you know, it's kind of hard. But I gotta hear what he said
for sure. Appreciate y'all for having
me on.
This is a good conversation. I like when we do this. Hey, Mama Love.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We getting ready to close out, man. Good chopping it up with you, brother Ish, as always. I see you behind the scenes, of course, my guy.
Always, for sure.
Oh, Mama Love came in late. Shout out to Mama Love in the building. Appreciate the super chat.
Thank you.
We getting ready to close out. Nicey girl getting ready to do the promo.
you know, from the womb to Illmatic, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys cop that because you know this is Sincere's first solo baby. This is a solo baby.
Boom.
Book. Boom.
There you go.
Boom. And that's the QR code right there on your screen. If you scan the QR code on your screen, that will take you right where you need to go to place your order for that book right there, From the Womb to Illmatic. It's a blueprint for unlocking your child's inner genius. So all the parents out there, the grandparents out there, you got little nieces and nephews, people like that. We teaching you how to do what we did with our son 7 to get them advanced when it comes to reading, math, and all of the basics, but really just excel their early learning journey, the early education journey. Go ahead and grab you that book and unlock your baby's inner genius. And then we got something that's specifically for the babies themselves. Boom.
Boom.
7 The Super Hey Rule children's book series, volume 1, 2, and 3, plus the activity book, all available right now on Amazon. Again, the QR code is right there on your screen. If you scan the QR code, it'll bring you right where you need to go to place your order. Volume 1, 7's Big Move. Volume 2, 7's Big Chop. And volume 3 is called God Abilities. And y'all really gotta when you get the whole collection, you really gotta get the activity book, because it's a lot of fun stuff for the kids to do in there, and they really get to learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? We got the Supreme Mathematics in there.
Mathematics up in there.
We got some Tut language stuff up in there. We got some of the master teachers up in there that they could learn a little bit about who they are and who they were. Where they get to do coloring, they get to do connecting the dots and word puzzles, all of that different stuff. But all of the words are relevant to our culture and our history and all of that stuff. So real good stuff, man. Y'all definitely want to go ahead and grab that. And that does it for today's episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. Appreciate everybody tapping in with us as always. Always remember, family, we are not the master teachers. We are only the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. We out of here. Peace and Black love.